been 6 months now. 6 months since the Ageofthefall first made an impact here at Ring of Honor. And I'm starting to get, I don't want to say frustrated, it's more like disappointment. And not in us, not in what we've done, but more in the people out there. See, I think we overestimated your intelligence a little bit. You seem confused and don't understand what the Ageofthefall is all about. You think it's a ridiculous notion that we're using Ring of Honor and professional wrestling as a platform for a social revolution. Well, how come every time a celebrity uses their status to spout off their political views, you don't think that's ridiculous? Every time somebody wins an Academy Award and speaks nothing of movies, but rather uses that time to shove down your throats their views on whatever religion of the day is, you give them a free pass. Well, that just has to do with our celebrity-obsessed culture, which you're a part of. And some of you think that, well, we're too full of ourselves, we don't know what we're talking about, and our message is meaningless. Well, there's people out there that don't think that at all. There's Mike, who started a chapter of Ageofthefall in Washington, D.C. There's another young man who started a chapter of Ageofthefall called the Children of the Revolution in Virginia. There's a young man who's a teacher who got wrongfully accused of some pretty immoral accusations. And because of Ageofthefall, he was inspired to fight for his job and fight the system. There's another man who hadn't seen his daughter in years. And through the Ageofthefall, he summoned the courage to see his daughter for the first time in years and take her to the circus. He put some meaning back in his life. And there's one that's particularly poignant I'd like to read. An email we received from a young man named Eric. It's called Invisible. Invisible is being 26 and paralyzed, forced to live in a nursing home an hour away from your home because no other facility will take you because you're too young. I just discovered Ageofthefall and it feels like home. I follow the blog, cannot watch Ring of Honor because this facility doesn't have pay-per-view or the Fight Channel. I can't afford the DVDs. Your blogs make me feel as though I can walk again as part of Ageofthefall. I'm the fallen and the forgotten. See, in Ageofthefall, we make the lame walk, we make the impossible possible. And those are the people we're here for. Almost a year ago, when I found love with Lacey, and I'd been fighting for it and scraping for it, and I thought love was going to make me happy, and I realized it didn't. I went to my friend Tyler Black, and we got to talking, and he told me the reason I'm not happy is because love doesn't guarantee happiness. And we got to talking and decided, well, hell, a lot of things don't guarantee happiness that society tells you. They say find love and you'll be happy. Finish college, you'll be happy. Get married, you'll be happy. Have children, you'll be happy. Buy a house, you'll be happy. Find God, you'll be happy. Well, how come so many people have done that and so many of these people haven't found happiness? Those milestones that society sets for us doesn't mean anything. Then the necro butcher came along. And we talked to him. He believed everything we spoke. Just because he might be physically repulsive, people look at him a certain way and treat him a certain way, like he's just some sort of savage animal. And while you cheer for him for his violence and brutality, make no mistake about it, he does not do that for you. He does it for a cause, because he believes in something. Lacey, who's sick of a society where a woman's value is based on their physical beauty. Shows like Nip Tuck, magazines like YM that teach young girls that they're only worth what their body is. Then Alice in Wonderland, who drove 13 hours from Minnesota to Dayton just to meet me, just to show her appreciation, who followed Ageofthefall just to show that she believed in us. And Joey Matthews, what a story. He knows what it's all about. He walked the red carpet with celebrities. He was on top of the world. That man was on top of the world and threw it all away because of demons this world puts in front of us. And when I found him, I saved him from his demons. I showed him a path. And he wears his shiny furry coat, not because it's glamorous, because he bears those chains and he's bound by them. And young Zach Gowen, he was supposed to be the biggest inspirational story that this wrestling business has ever seen. At 19 years old, he was in Madison Square Garden. He was in the ring with Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, bona fide legends of this business at 19. But because of his immaturity, because he was given too much too quickly, it was all flushed down the toilet. And that man went to dark places that no man should go. When I found him, I told him to stand up and fight for something. Now, Zach's here to redeem himself, looking for redemption in Ageofthefall. Those are the people we're here for. So, while you might not agree with our political stances, with our social revolution, you have to admit this, that we're fighters, and we've fought for everything we've gotten since day one. When I hung Jay Briscoe above me, he bled pints of blood all over me. That was to show, that was to prove a point in the most vile, disgusting act in the history of the professional wrestling business. Don't forget about that. We did that for a reason. To prove that people like the Briscoes, who are in power, shouldn't be there. To prove a point. When I put the choke on Bryan Danielson and won that match, the biggest victory of my career, it wasn't because of how hard I hit, it was because of how hard I can get hit and get back up and keep fighting, because that's what we do in Ageofthefall. We're fighters. We don't fight for nothing, we fight for a cause, we fight for a purpose. Because without purpose, life is meaningless. Look into my eyes when I say that. Life is meaningless without a purpose. You can walk that line, walk right over the edge, follow the rest of them. When I came into Ring of Honor, I came here as a kid, a 19-year-old kid. I'm a 24-year-old man, and you bet your ass that I scraped and crawled for everything I got. Now we're waging a war against complacency, trying to save the society that our parents' generation destroyed. The war is no longer waiting. The war is here. And the time to move is now. You can stand up and be counted and fight for something, and live for something. Or you can sit there and get knocked the fuck over